I stated before that I might not create any more content or actually for quite a long time. But that was really dependent on my setup that I have at home. I'm getting fed up creating in the space that I am. But for the time being, I've moved things back temporarily. But that doesn't mean that I won't leave either soon or in the future. But I was reluctant to do this video because, to be honest, I'm having a bit of a bad day, and I thought, to be honest, is it better just to get through the day and then see if you really want to talk about something tomorrow and do those things. But I'm someone who prefers to speak in the moment. I think it's really important. I think transparency is really, really crucial, to be totally honest. I think if you're going to talk on sort of important topics about like personal growth, healing, negating the process itself would be quite pointless. So how the hell could you explain things if you don't go through it? So I think personally it's better. It's more important to show your lowest moments than it is to show the breakthroughs. Okay, the breakthroughs are inspiring, but that's it's usually just the very end, the top of the mountain. There's awful lot of climbing to do to get to the top of that mountain, and there'll be relapses. There'll be times when just life gets too heavy for you, and it can really get overwhelming. And I'm having like one of those days today where almost like you just can't find happiness in anything, and it's when you feel like that, life does lose meaning to a degree. You just think, I can't even be bothered. It's like life to an extent. I mean, for most people, life will feel like Groundhog Day, like it's repeating, and it's not a nice feeling at all, especially when that repetition is in misery. So it just compounds upon itself. And there's only so much misery one can take before the weight just makes you stop. Now, I'm not someone that stops for like long periods, but I do stop and I do get fed up just like everybody else. So I spoke previously about the book I'm working on and the fact that I hope to have it out by November. I had all positive intention to work on it today. I was like, I'm going to just get this done. I started opening it, started working on it, and then I just said, I don't even give a shit. To be totally honest, I just shut it and said, I'm not even doing it today. I'm not touching it. And okay, maybe it might mean that I don't reach a deadline, and it's like, but right now I don't care. In all honesty, it's probably one of the only times where I've been deeply resentful while working on a project. So my other books, even if, like, for instance, let's say I didn't see the success I expected from the first book, and then you go and work on the next book, there's obviously, if anything, there's like a resentment building with each book in the sense that you're working for free. And I don't understand how the next book's supposed to be the breakthrough when there's enough books there that people can consume. Now, I am spiritual, and there may be a convergence upon that in this video. I don't know, because I do understand deeper reasons to things, and so it might make me seem a bit crazy at times, but I do have arguments with the universe, and I do say this isn't fair. It's about time I had something good in my life, and so I do get resentful too. I get positive signs about a romance that could happen in the future, but there's certain days when I'm just like, it's best not approach me today. If something was to happen that day, then I probably wouldn't even react, because there's moments when I just think, I don't even want a relationship. Some days I absolutely love the idea of being in love, sharing my life with someone. Then you just think about all the possibilities. And then there's other days when I'm just like, I'll just rather just stay in. I'll just rather just keep to what the little piece I have of me, and just keep it together like that, And it's like, I don't. I think sort of other people are like this too, to be totally honest. Maybe not to the extremes that I am from one side to the other. But it's to be in a relationship, there is a level of give and take. And some days I don't want to give and take. Some days I'm just thinking, I just want to have my own semblance of peace and just stay in my own little bubble, do what I want when I want. And it's just simplified that way. And so some days I am like that. And it's like, I don't want to give today. I don't want to. But like I said, there's other days when maybe I would be yearning for that intimacy, that companionship, and you are open to it. Now, I'm sure with the right relationship, for instance, it shouldn't be that hard. I think if you're in the right relationship, if in the wrong relationship, I think life's heavy. I'm not. I've always had this in workplaces and things. People will say, "What did you do at the weekend? Like you're skydiving or something?" It's like, I'm not into all that. I'm not interested in like thrill seeking and all that shit. I'm not interested in over glamorizing life. I don't do none of that. I'm simple. I'm a very simple person. I find joy in the simpler things. So in the wrong relationship, for instance, I'd be considered boring. In another relationship, you'd be peaceful, and it's harmonious, and you're finding joy in the things you find equally satisfying. So that's the thing, isn't it? In any relationship, someone else might think it's just a nightmare. You're too boring, or you're too this. It's like I'm too me. I don't care what you perceive to be exciting. It's like I just don't care. You know, I don't want to digress too far, but it might actually make my mood sharpen, and it'd be like, oh, shouldn't be in a happy mood. Let's not be happy today. No, I mean, our moods fluctuate. You can be good one minute and maybe have it down the next. And usually it's the weight of things. But there has been videos, for instance, I've seen on social media where, like, young women, or just women, some take exception to men. Maybe they go into a bar and the men don't give them attention. Now all of a sudden they're stereotyped guys as being up their own asses and things like that. And it's like, it's almost like some people just think that everybody should just worship at their feet, and it just like it's easy to like vilify people just because they're not doing what you expect them to do. And I know when I see content like that, I naturally just laugh because I think I wouldn't give you attention either. Like it's like I don't play games, and just because you expect things for free or you expect someone to do this for you, do that for you, it doesn't mean they have to. Don't just expect shit of people for free all the time just because you think you're superior or some way or something, or you just think you're attractive. That's not enough to get through life in every sector of society. And if someone's attention seeking, I'd very rarely give that attention. That makes sense, you know. But yeah, I just thought, yeah, I wouldn't be interested in people like that. I'm not a superficial person, so you could be the most attractive person on the planet, but if I recognize you've got the personality of a pig, you're not going to get my attention in the slightest. I don't care if you're the most attractive person in the world. You're just trying to show off your body to get everybody to stare. It's like, no, they don't interest me. The devil is in all sorts of disguises. Yeah, seriously. And yeah, I don't fall for none of that crap. I know that digresses a little bit, but it's just little pockets of society I see, and it just makes me amused a little bit. And again, and it is in those situations where you've got these society girls, should you call it. That's, to them, I'd be considered boring because they just want to live for the nightlife all the time. I'm not a nightlife person. So again, I'd be completely lost on the wrong person. But then who am I trying to impress? No one. Again, I've already established I'm more than comfortable just to go through life solo anyway. I just don't care. Where I get fed up is where I think hard work doesn't get rewarded. I think that gets demoralizing. So sometimes I feel like I'm stuck in quicksand. No matter what I do, it doesn't seem to elevate my life or give me a different reality, if you like. So when you're always like, for instance, I can cope well in chaos, and struggle, but it's when it's persistent you get a bit, like I said, resentful. So I feel I've worked hard enough for long enough that I shouldn't be like poor anymore. Like that gets on my nerves. It really does. Like, again, I've done it. I've been like this for years, but it's like after a while, it's kind of like it doesn't correlate though with the work that's been put in. It doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. Like I say, I know the deeper reasons, but I get resentful. So signs point towards the next book I do could be the catalyst for imminent success. But I get resentful of it. Because why is that one book the thing that could potentially change my entire circumstance when I've already done a lot before? Like, why should I have to go through the whole process yet again? Why should I have to be that exhausted all over again? Just because that's going to be the breakthrough? I don't know if people realize that, how exhausted I get. Like, I'm truly exhausted today. It might be clear on my face, it might not. But I feel like, in terms of energy, I feel depleted. I feel really, really run down and depleted. And so there's days when I can push myself. There's days when maybe I have more energy. But there's days when I'm genuinely exhausted, and it's just, I look and think, that's because you've been doing this for years. It's not a case of, oh, well, you were so busy yesterday, that's why you're tired today. It's because this has just been ongoing since forever. And I'm 42 years old now, it's like I'm just sick and tired of the weight on my shoulders. So like I say, the spiritual side of me, I have arguments with the universe. And I think it was this morning, some days like envelop on themselves. It's like, is it today or is it yesterday? Who knows? But I was throwing a bit of a hissy fit. So I was really productive the other day. And then today I completely down tools because I'm like, you know what? Because this is why, again, I want to be transparent because I want people to see if there is success in my life at some point, I really want people to recognize and see how I felt at given moments. Because I'm not going to delete these videos, So, like, for instance, I could be really successful in the future, and then a video like this might surface, and people might think, and then people might perceive it as embarrassing. I don't consider my journey embarrassing, and I really don't care. This is like how I feel today, and that's how I felt at that moment. So, in 10 years' time, that's how I felt in this period on the 23rd of October, 2025, as I was writing my 7th book. This is how I felt. It's a documentary, really, but it's a diary moment, I guess. Yeah, I was just making the point that I've already done. I feel like I've done enough work for humanity. I think I've done, and that's what I was making the point that I think I've contributed enough for humanity that I can stop. I feel like I deserve the opportunity. Like if I decide to stop, I think it's fair. So if I don't make another book, that's fine. I've already contributed my part to humanity. If I decide to not record any more videos, it's fine. I've done the work, and I feel like the work I've done is enough. Yeah, the universe might have other plans for me, but I'm saying I'm not like a puppet. I might have agreed to do certain things in this lifetime, but I feel personally within myself that I've honored what I was supposed to do in this lifetime. I consider everything else a bonus. So it might be I have potential to do even more, but I feel like I should be rewarded already for what I've done now. Like this isn't just like me being greedy or saying, expecting the world. But I feel like the world should catch up with me now. I've not been rewarded at all for the work I've done, So if the books are there, by extension, the audio books, and then there's so many videos, and it all falls on deaf ears. Of course, I can't grow anywhere. Like I literally cannot grow anywhere. It's like a stunted seed. This seed should have been a tree by now, and it's just this stupid little sprouting whatever the hell it is. It's not even a freaking bush. It's not even a freaking plant. It's this stupid sprouting seed that has never allowed itself to it's never grown. Like, it just feels stuck. And that's how I feel. And I feel if I was in any other body, as any other soul, having a human experience, we're going to talk about, I don't want to delve too spiritual there, but I just feel if I was anybody else, I'd have been successful like crazy by now. But the universe, for some reason, holds me so accountable and to such a high standard that they keep me stuck. And I feel that all the time. And I get resentful for that. I get really, really, really fed up, and I will stop what I do. Now, ultimately, I know that's it's counterproductive. Of course it is. When you're down tools, you get fed up. The universe always wins. There's always a divine plan. So, I can feel validated and vindicated in what I'm doing, but ultimately, you get back doing what you're supposed to do, whether it's later today, whether it's tomorrow, or it's in a week. And maybe you'll look back and think you've just lost a week to your petulance. But again, I think it's valid. It's valid. So, and I think it's important that we process our emotions and our frustrations. Now, what I want to do is just share a little video because it come up today with my little outbursts. And it just matched perfectly. Now, before I did this video, I was contemplating whether to use my tarot cards, let spirit interject. But in all honesty, today, I don't want to hear from them, to be totally honest. It's not me being rude to spirit, to source. They'll know how pissed off I am. And so I don't want to hear it sometimes. I get a lot of signs in my life in various aspects, and I intuitively know anyway. So all these things do is they just repeat to me what I already feel. And so they would know how annoyed I am anyway. It's just, I'm fed up with my path. And I've always said this, I feel like I'm further along than I'm supposed to be in my life journey. Almost like things were set up for me later on, and I've gone too fast. The world isn't ready for me yet. So I'm being cloaked. I've been saying this for ages. I feel like I'm being cloaked somehow, and that's why the seed isn't sprouting yet, because it's not supposed to. There was supposed to be a time when it happens, and I've sort of like pushing things along faster than they should, and that's what this person points towards in this video, and that kind of matches the way I feel. So it personally, I've been saying it for a few years actually. I feel like there's check boxes to do in life, and I feel like I keep bursting through them, like blasting through everything. So you give me a test, and I'll ace it. I don't say that from like an arrogance or egotistical way. It's just I always overcome everything, and I'm quite quick at analyzing and seeing things. And so, like from a spiritual point of view, so we come here, we have like you can't, you get your mind wiped to a degree. You don't really know your purpose, your calling, but you'll figure it out as you go. The more you develop, and you might like grow into your intuitive gifts, and then connect to source, so that you sort of like know instinctively what you need to do. And of course, the quicker you connect to that, your purest version of self, the faster you'll overcome things. And then you sort of like trust yourself to know what you need to do rather than what people put pressure on you to do, if you know what I mean. So I've always lent on myself more than the opinion of others. And so I think that's held me in good stead all the way through life. And ultimately, if I feel something, I follow it. So I feel like personally, I've been acing the tests, not always perfectly, because obviously it might take me a little bit longer. But either way, I still think even when it takes me a little while, it's still faster than was planned. So I feel like there was something planned for my life in a certain sequence of events, in a certain expectation of time. And I've just kept pushing through way too quick. And it was confirmed to me back in 2023, it's only 2 years ago, through a challenge session with someone. And it was, it was literally said that I've been going too fast. They're trying to hold me still. They need to keep me still while they put things in place. And of course, I'm fed up because I've been waiting. So who knows how fast I've been, but I've got a funny feeling I've been quite rapid. But then think about it that way. Let's say your breakthrough is supposed to be in a year, 2 years, and you've already aced it now. It's like the idea of waiting in circles for 2 years is a nightmare. Like, that's not fair. That's what it feels like for me. It feels like that's what's been happening for the past couple of years. Is that I've been waiting for the door to open. It's like something needs to change because I can't keep going around these circles here. It's like driving around a car park. You're waiting for a parking space. Like you've got there, you've left early, you've gone to get there. There should be a parking space, and then maybe you're going to get on the airplane and go. You just keep driving around a car park. You can't find a parking space. This doesn't make sense. There should be a gap somewhere. It doesn't even make sense. You've actually left early for this. That's, I mean, probably one way of explaining it, really. I can't see myself personally doing these videos forever. It's just not going to happen because I've shown in another video where I have to set this. If anything, it's mainly the green screen. Me sitting in front of my computer. Yeah, I can sit here. It's not the best environment for me to record, but I can make it happen. I'm not going to keep setting this poxy thing up all the time. It's really hard for me to keep doing it now. I've got a lighting that just seems to be shifting or dimming. I don't know. So my background's not. You notice the shadows are getting a bit more irritant, like they're irritating me. So the one down here gets on my nerves like crazy. So I have to keep moving the green screen. It's like angling it. It's a whole process. For me, it's not professional. It's not good enough. And that's annoying. So before I can press record, I'm fighting this green screen for about 5 minutes. Every time. Because I can't keep it there permanently. It's a freaking eyesore. It's right next to it. Like, I need to get to my bed. Anyway, just for a personal, private space, it's not going to happen. So, like I said before, I wasn't going to do the videos, but I've just set my laptop back up again. So I don't want to digress too far, but I think it's important because this is production. I've been building a computer. I've sold one, but in the past, I wanted to get a new one again. So I've been building it. I just need a graphics card. I've sold a few things around my home, like an old PlayStation 3 I had. I've sold a phone when I upgraded my phone. There's a few things I've sold. Very fortunate, very perfect timing. I've spoken about that before. Like, I seem to get just-in-time blessings. So only as right at the last minute. And all those things have happened at the last minute. Or if I've said I really need this to happen, all of a sudden it happens. But it doesn't happen straight away. Like maybe in a couple of days. Whenever it's really needed, boom, that's when it happens. Now, we're going to say it's happened every time because the universe sometimes you might be asking for something the universe thinks isn't in your best interests. So, for instance, let's say I really want this computer built, and I really want this computer built, but maybe the universe thinks that's going to be a distraction for him. If he finishes that, he might not finish the book. I know they think like this, and they do. So I get annoyed because I'm like, at the very least, I deserve that thing built for the work I've done. I've worked my ass off. At least give me this. So, look, I don't need a laptop and I don't need a computer. I don't need both together. Right? So, I'm like in two minds at the moment. It's either sell the laptop and finish the computer, or just return the computer parts and be done with it. But I want the computer really. Now I know it's digressing a little bit, but right now the computer can't be called because it's got integrated graphics. For some reason, it doesn't do well with my webcam, and for some reason, once it maxes out, the graphics card on the integrated thing, it just maxes out, and then all of a sudden, the rest of the resources go mental. So my audio breaks. It goes absolutely crazy. So I can't record on a computer. The laptop I can record on because it's been doing it for years. So I can do it there. So I've just reset the laptop up, moved the computer to the side, much to my own annoyance, like deep annoyance. That's pissed me off. Like, what's the point of having a computer that's just sitting there now? All I know is needs one part to work, and it's now obsolete at this point. What's the point? Got a whole powerful computer that just needs one part, and I'm replacing it with a bloody laptop again. But of course, the laptop natively works with all the stuff, so that's why I'll be doing the video, by the way. Yeah, anyway, so that's a little annoyance that's going on in my life at the moment. So I just ordered the graphics card, and then a couple of hours later, I cancelled the order. And that really bothered me a lot. That bothered me. That's one of the things that's pushed me over the edge because it's not a huge outlay. It was like £200. I'd sold the PlayStation 3, but that was like my last £200, and there was still a bill to come by the end of the month, and it's just playing with fire. It's like, oh, you can't do stupid decisions, and plus I needed it. There's something else coming up. And it was like, that's going to test me a little bit. And it's just annoying as shit. Like, it's just the last piece, though. You know, when you just want to just risk it all just to have this thing finished. And I wanted to risk it all. So I risked it all. Like, I made the purchase thinking, I know the universe will catch me. That laptop will sell. The laptop will sell in time and they'll save the day. But I thought better and I thought, but what if this is the time when they don't want to save me because you wasn't supposed to build the computer yet, and maybe there's a lesson in balance in your finances? That's risky. And I was like, I'm gonna have to cancel this because I don't feel confident right now. And believe me, that set a fire in my ass. That really pissed me off, to be totally honest, because I was really excited to have it working. It was an expensive graphics card, £200. The ones I would really want are the ones that are like £500 plus. But I was like, this one's be fine for a while. For like, it would still last a year or so. It'd be fine. And it'd be similar spec to my laptop, weirdly enough, but the desktop versions are more powerful, and I don't have to worry about overheating. It won't shut down. There's all these things. Like it will just breeze through it. Anyway, it's just annoyed me deep down because I'm thinking all the books I've done, all the videos I've done, I don't get rewarded for any of it, and I'm like, a £200 graphics card, I can't even have that. And a lot of what I've had recently, like where I said I've been building a computer and things, it's come at a sacrifice. Like the things I have at the moment, I've had to either sell things or get on finance, and it's like, that's not fair. Why have I always got to lose something or accrue debt at the moment when I've worked so hard? It's not fair. That's not fair. Like, and I, again, started off saying I'm resentful. I'm pissed. Like, deep down, I am fuming. I am absolutely raging right now. It's not. I don't consider it greedy. I think it's the bare minimum of what I deserve. So the idea that I sit down and give up even more of my time to create, a piece of work of art, if you want to call it that, like a book. And I know some people would absolutely like. Some people who haven't done a book, they'd love to have a book, and I get it because sometimes you can take your talents for granted. I get all that, but I've worked my ass off for a long time, and I just don't. Maybe the content of the book is the thing that's needed. Maybe the content of this book isn't in the other books. I get it. But on principle alone, it's like, why should I throw myself into this seventh book? I've been exhausted writing all the other books. I am literally burning out constantly with this one. Because I'm that tired from it all. That I can't, I don't feel the passion to do it. Like some days I do, so I get a lot done. But then it's like, oh, I'm sick of working for free all the time, you know? Um, yeah, I don't ask for a lot, but it's just not fair. And I think when you feel that way, it's really hard to motivate, isn't it? Now, I see the bigger picture and I get it, you know? I'm sure when there's like 10 books eventually, I'll be so proud and they could literally change your life, can't they? It could actually do like mental things. Like if we put it in perspective, I'm not trying to sort of like be mental, but let's say you got £3 to £5 per book, and let's say one day you went viral and you got like 1 million sellers, and every book, because usually if someone reads one, they might read all of them. Let's say one day there's 10 books, and you sell 1 million copies of each book. That's like, let's say it's even if you just said £3 per book, it's like 3 million books, 30. That's £3 million. You got 10 books, £30 million. All of a sudden, it changes your life like crazy, doesn't it? The potential's there, of course, but at the moment, that's a far cry. That's a far cry. That's the potential for anyone that does anything. You know, you never know where it leads to. But I can't even afford a £200 graphics card right now, and I've been struggling with just grocery shopping. You know, and it's like the universe is, can you get on with this next book for us now? You what? You what? Now, anyone knows me, you know I'm quite a temperamental person. So I'm not someone who just toes the line, spirit or not. I do fight back. Um, I always, you know, I'm humble enough with them that I let go. So I will eventually, but I mean, it's really going to be a case of regaining my energy because I'm absolutely exhausted. You can't keep working on fumes. My sleep pattern's all over the place because I'm not particularly happy. Like in general, like you can't expect just to be, you know, to sleep means you're at peace, really. So if you've got a lot on your mind and you're stressed or you've got something going, it's really hard to be at peace. I mean, obviously you find your sense of peace in moments, but really, I do feel peaceful in general. It's not really. I've got a lot of stress on my life continuously. I can handle the stress, but it doesn't. But my mind doesn't rest, so it's hard for me to rest. You know. So then, of course, I'm burnt out. It's like you're trying to be burnt out both ends. You know. I hope this has made some sense. It's just I'm so fed up. No, I never look for pity. I'm not looking for none of that crap. I just thought it's really important that I just share this side because there's going to be people who go on a healing journey and it's going to be like life's lost cause. You know, you're going to think, I'm wasting my time. I've invested in all this. I'm just going to have to go back to the old version of me because it's at least I have something. There'll be times when you'll think about that, and then it'll be, but if you're being truly authentic to yourself, you'll recognize you just can't do it. You can't because then you just lose part of your soul in the process. You know, you're just giving in. That's what it is, and it's really hard if you genuinely love yourself to give in and lose your identity. Doesn't mean you can't do like jobs and things you've done in the past, but just keep the dream alive, you know. For me, it's getting really hard for me to go back to the old things, so it makes money hard for me. It's not a lack of work ethic. It's just that those places for me, like it's usually warehouses and things. They're just usually poorly run. It's usually a toxic work culture. It's usually people just like trying to one up each other, you know, and then you got people trying to undermine you and all these things. And I see all these issues before, as I walk, even if I walk through the door for an interview, I get a vibe. And then I see like a lot of the places are just like poorly organized, they're dangerous. And maybe a younger version of me can handle those things. You just go in with you know, just get on with this. Now it's like it feels so heavy on me, you know. You walk in, and you go, "This is absolutely crap. I can't. This is just soul destroying." But of course, if you can find it, like, so I'm still open to finding something that works for me. But I'm just, you know, you want it to be fair and balanced. But even then, I keep saying resentful. But of course, I'm going to be pissed if I have to be somewhere else, working my ass off every day doing like physical work, and then in my spare time, I'm expected to work on books, do videos and shit. When is there time for me? When do I get to be happy? That's the argument I have with the universe all the time. When do I get to be happy? Because I'm freaking pissed. And again, I don't regret anything I've done. I'm not resentful of the work I've done. You know, I accept that I've done this. If I'd never get rewarded for it, I never get rewarded for it. It's my contribution to humanity, whatever. But I don't think it's fair to expect me to spend my whole life like this. You know. Now, anyone see my other videos, you see I've done tarot readings for myself. It does point towards a beautiful life awaiting me. I get a lot of signs now that things are going to improve quite quick. But I'm sick and tired of signs. You know, sometimes timelines shift, they change. I've had it before. I've had it so many times. Like next year's your breakthrough. Next year's your breakthrough. I'm like, I've been hearing this for like 2 or 3 years. So I'm sick and tired of hearing next year's your breakthrough. Next year you can go and do one because there's no guarantee. Like, I'm a temperamental person, you know. So just because I need something, depend on my mindset as to whether I will be interested. So someone could approach me and it'd be like, this is what we're going to offer, this, offer that. If I don't want to do it, I won't even do it. Like, let's say I walk away from all this. I'm not saying I will, but let's say I walk away from it. Let's say I say, like, I've done my books. I'm never writing another book again. Let's say I say, I've done my videos. I'm done with the videos. If I genuinely feel it, and then someone approaches me and says, we can do a book deal. Well, if I say I'm not writing any more books, and if I decide genuinely I don't want to do that, what's the good as a book deal? Like it's not the person's fault, but the universe could have approached me with a book deal freaking at the beginning. It might be someone's interested in creating video content together and collaborating, create a channel, create something. That's lovely while I'm creating videos, but let's say that happens and I decide I walk away from video content and I never want to do it ever again. And then someone approaches me, it's like too little too late. Yeah, I'm not saying that's the case right now, but what I'm saying is that could happen in the future. So there's no point universe taking their sweet time with things because I might not be interested later. I might just cut my losses and say I'm done and let the universe just make it work. That's personally how I feel at the moment. I feel like, let's say there's 10 books because I've still got other books to write when I can be asked to do it. You know, when my mindset's right enough to get these done. They're good. I mean, I've been working on the 4 chapters I've edited and like I green light certain ones. So when I'm doing my books, I've got like color tags for the chapters. Blue means I'm working on it at the minute. Purpley like red just means you need to go back and just have another look at it. Maybe add some work to it or edit a bit more. A little awareness of that. If I do green color, it means it's perfect. You could print that now and it'd be perfectly fine. Like that's not getting. It's unlikely you're touching that again. Of course, you'd read it again later at the end when you do your full read before you release a book. But for me, green means finished. So at the moment, I've got about 4 or 5 green chapters, about 40 chapters, I think 37 chapters. And I've got so far 5 are green. So it's like, that's great because I absolutely love them chapters. If they weren't green and they were finished and I didn't, they'll be deleted, you know? So if something's truly bad, it'll be removed. It's pointless. We've got 5 that I'm like, this is absolutely beautiful. This is great. So reading them, I can see the benefit to people personally because they're all about helping people, you know? But yeah, I can see one day there'd been like 10 books. But I feel like I would be justified. If there was 10 books, I would be justified in feeling that I don't ever have to write another book if I choose not to. I mean, 10 books in your life is quite remarkable, I think. But no, there's no guarantee what I decide. But if you look at my YouTube channel, like nearly 700 videos, I think. I don't know. I think that's enough too. You know, it's like, when's enough? When do we say enough's enough? You know, I just want to be happy, and sometimes it's going to be the little things that make us happy, and I just get sick and tired of like scraping by in life. It's almost like the world is just so corrupt. It's like the only way to survive is to sort of like fit in, and when you try to do things the right way or in the way that aligns with you, it's just so freaking hard. But again, the whole point of me showing the hardship is that hopefully one day the breakthrough comes, and then people get to see this part of my life, you know. And if I don't document it, it's really going to be hard to relate when you struggle. So while I'm struggling now, yeah, people can have an opinion on that by all means. But it doesn't mean I don't have faith in what's to come. It just means today I'm exhausted, I'm fed up, and I'm not motivated, and I'm not working at the moment on the project. But I mean, if in a few hours, I could easily just open the laptop up again and just start working on a chapter. So, you know, I do work. You know, that's the thing. I do work like when I have the energy and when I have the attention span to do it, I will work. And that's usually why I burn out anyway. So like, let's say I'm burnt out and I start getting a bit of energy back, I'm starting recovering. I then go back and sometimes I jump back in again. And then it's like, now burnt out again. So you're not actually, really, I need a holiday. But I haven't had a holiday this year. I desperately need just a break. And then you'd come back all fresh, reinvigorated, and then you'd be able to just go at it. I don't have that luxury in my life. So it's always like little recovery, burnouts. It's just, you never fully recover, you know? if that makes sense. Let's watch this video now because I just want to show it because, it, like I said, it sort of matches what I feel internally, what I've been saying. Let's do this. Yeah. Let's hope it works. It might be blinging. I hope the audio works.
Okay, interesting. You're ahead of your time in many ways, but this is why certain soul gifts of yours, certain ideas couldn't really come to fruition before you were ready. Okay, you weren't quite ready to receive the information that went along with this activation. Okay, there was something here that changed, though. Something in your karma shifted, and that's really important you understand, because this wasn't supposed to happen yet. You broke through so many barriers, and you actually set yourself free from more than you ever actually expected when you were a soul planning your life in this body with your spirit team and with the divine and with the council that rules over your soul group. You weren't expected to get this far this fast, but because you did, you're being rewarded with new opportunities and new timelines. There's new inspiration here for you in these cycles that are brand new to your soul, that are brand new to your being. Page of Wands, the Fool, with the Six of Swords. God, I love when I can give a message like this. I feel so lucky to be the one to be affirming this message for you, okay? Literally, it couldn't happen yet. It wasn't supposed to happen yet. And this is not something that you can tell anyone. I mean, literally anyone. You cannot tell anyone what this is, okay? Because this requires a lot of secrecy. This requires a lot of secrecy in order to be completed. Okay? This is not something that everyone else has access to. Yeah. Like, I feel like my eyes are being shut. Like, people are not allowed to see what this is.
Right. Now, everyone have their own interpretations of that. I don't, I've never lived my life with people telling me what to do. That's not how I operate at all. I'll know internally whether I need to keep my mouth shut for a while. I know whether it's that. Now, their interpretation is their interpretation. They may very well be right. There may be some, like a sign I get. There might be something I internally know at some point, and it'll be like, now's the time just to keep quiet and work in silence. I get that. What she's saying there it may be slightly what she's saying, but not quite the same. It might very well be that you're supposed to do this alone and you're not supposed to have people around you while you do it, because people derail. It could be things like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be about you talking about something. It might actually be about the fact that you're not allowing people to just derail you. So that's how I see things. But yeah, I've had a lot of other signs with these videos, not just this one. I've had other ones as well that point towards successes and things. And I've already said before about deleting my social media. The only reason I've got my TikTok still, and I really want to delete it, but there is a level of it's so frustrating because I get frustrated with so much social media at the moment. For me to sit and watch that video is really important because a lot of videos now I'm scrolling past. I'm literally scrolling. I don't even give a shit. Like, even if it's someone who looks like they're tapped in, they're doing really good, even if it's another tarot reader. There's usually something about them that just drives me nuts. They might repeat themselves all the time. Like I've said it before, like 3 lines, they just keep saying the same thing over and over again. I can't handle that shit. There's usually mannerisms that each of them have got where I'm like, I can't part with you anymore. I've had enough. You're taking too long to deliver the message. Scroll. And then with her, I just stopped. I just watched the whole thing, and it made sense. And I think that's the thing. Sometimes you're just going to stop because there's something you need to hear. I mean, even if here, I've just noticed it now, 1, 2, 3 on the faves. And I mean, I've done videos in the past where I talk about synchronicities, but I didn't notice at the time. Then I watched the video back and I'm like, there was signs all around here that I never pointed to. Yeah, but anyway, it's just getting a bit, like I say, it is getting tiring. Yeah.
And you are not allowed to tell people what this is. You will be cut off from saying anything before it is time, because there can be no interference. There can be no interference with this. Okay? And this is something that you are meant to fulfill on your own. That you absolutely have the ability to do, because this is something that is so aligned with your heart, so aligned with your desires and what you're passionate about, that you never thought that this would actually be a divine inspiration of something that you could really do, but you're going to do it. And you're going to be given downloads as to how, when, where, and like how to get the ball rolling. I love this for you.
Well, didn't tell us too much, but told us enough. But she put "you are veiled," and I was like, "Well." As soon as I saw that, you are ahead of your soul's plan. Look, yeah, that's what I was talking about, isn't it? But the veiled thing makes sense to me, to be honest, because I feel like I'm being cloaked. No wonder I can't get, you know what I mean? Because it doesn't make sense. No matter where I go, no matter what platform I put myself on, I can't grow. I get so minimal views and things like that. It's just, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. Like the time nearly, I say nearly, it's just literally turned to 333. Times 333. That's crazy. I mean, she's got 222 on the video there, but yeah, 333. So again, like I say, I was really just wanted to show people the journey, because what it is in the book, I'm talking about the journey to a degree. You know, I'm talking about like letting go of the past and don't let people hold you back from a vision, from a dream you have, and you know, try to build the life that you want and be yourself. So I think within that, me writing that book is also, you know, I'm always accountable anyway, but I feel like it's really important that you do share the lows as well as the highs. And know what, you know, but part of what he wants people to see is that when you invest in yourself, it's not necessarily the case that the world's going to invest in you at the same time. So there'd be periods when maybe you've got to lose everything to gain everything, you know? You're literally going to lose pretty much most things you have. And can you feel comfortable with that? And it's not a comfortable feeling. You're going to have reactions to it. You're going to have reactions to it. Because it's not nice to feel like you're just losing all the time. And, you know, life's passing you by. Because that's what it feels like to a degree, you know. It's not that easy. It's just, money doesn't define people, but money does give you opportunity. It's like I've already discussed there. I haven't had a holiday this year. Yet if I was to just conform, forget my dreams, forget my aspirations, forget everything I'm building, succumb to sort of like the life that everybody else builds towards, where they're just miserable. You do a 9 to 5 job, you're going to do all that stuff, but at least it gives you, like, you have more money than I have, and you know, each year you can have a holiday. Of course, you're miserable all year, but you've still got your holiday, you know. So there's like, you're being rewarded for it though, in somehow. So you can rationalize it. And so on that side of things, someone will have more than me, but they're just as miserable, if not more. I just have low moments. I just have times when I'm just exhausted, and there's times when I just feel resentful. But this is just how I feel about the situation, you know. But how do I feel about me? Oh, I'm proud of me. I love who I am, you know, and I'm proud of what I've accomplished. I just, again, it isn't fair that I haven't been rewarded for it. The other side of that is someone else could just be suffering all the time internally because they're doing something they hate and they don't love themselves. You know, they're not doing things that respect who they are. So where I say I love myself, you know, and I'm proud, other people, maybe they don't love themselves and they're not proud of anything they've done. They're not fulfilling anything that they set out to do with their life, you know, just chasing the money, for instance. And it's like, that only gets you so far. So on the one hand, they have what I don't have. On the other hand, I have what they don't have, you know, and it's like, I'd rather have the option I've chose, because if I didn't want that option, I could easily just stop and then go back and I can just go and do what everyone else is doing, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I'm aware of how it's perceived, but I don't doubt the result. I just get fed up in the moments because it's just not fair. It hasn't been. And like I say, sometimes I just get like that. I just think, what's the point of the next book? What's the point of another video? You know, like, what's the point when there's so much already there? Why should I give any more of my time? And again, I know that it can come across selfish, and in some ways, perhaps it is. And I know that, you know, this isn't for everyone. It only takes one person to need to hear something you've just done, you know, and it helps give them perspective that it was worth it, wasn't it? And then that means that was important I did that. And if I hadn't done it, it wouldn't have helped them. And I recognize that all the time. So there's like a responsibility that even if I feel vindicated to hold things back, if I know it's going to help someone, though, it's like that's the purpose, though. That's the point. We're not going to be here forever. None of us are going to be here forever. So ultimately, it's just, are the things you had really that important? Like you can, like I said, the money. You can have the money, you can have the bling, you can have the things you desire, and all those different things. And again, I'm not invalidating those things, but you could have those things, and then when your life comes to an end, it's like that's all you had. Nothing got left behind. Nothing remarkable. Didn't really have any impact on the world. So your existence was really pointless. In some ways, it was pointless. You come here, you had a good time. That's all you had. There was literally no point to the life, though. It was just like you just come here, had a good time, went back, and then went left the planet. Or you come here, you literally have an impact on the planet. You evolve with it yourself. You aspire for your bigger dreams to fulfill your goals. You don't lose who you are in the process, and I think that's far more meaningful. It's that when your time on here ends, at least you've had an impact on the world, or at least tried to have an impact on the world. Like, what's better, People tell you the money, the bling, and it's like, in moments you might see that as the glamour, but really it's superficial. There's no substance to it. There's just no substance to your life if that's all you have.